Welcome to our presentation. The main idea of this project is to approach the problem of optical character recognition using shape registration and deep learning. Existing OCR services provided by various tech companies are known to have the accuracy in the range of mid-90s and all are in major part black boxes. However, we assume that they are using some combination of deep learning architectures having CNNs, LSTMs, etc. borrowed from automatic speech recognition systems. In contrast, we are proposing a novel approach of shape registration. OCR is usually done in two stages. First, we detect the bounding box having text in it, and second is text extraction. This project is mainly focused on stage 2. In this approach, we consider characters as curves, and the distance metric is developed by Sukurdeep as a verification metric between two characters. However, it is a computationally expensive metric, and thus we turn to supervised deep learning technique to learn this metric. To give an intuition about this metric in a nutshell, it estimates the energy spent in deforming a source shape into the target shape.
So here we consider two data sets. The first one we called the benchmark data set, and the other one is the OCR data set. OCR data set contains around 70K pairs of curves and their corresponding distance label. So we took these distances and created new samples that model the basic axioms of distance metrics, which are the distance between curves between curve A and curve B is the same as distance between curve B and curve A. Also, the distance between a curve and itself is just 0. We also apply some normalizations to the shapes, and we finally split the data into an 80-20 split for train test sets. And so here is the model architecture. We have the data augmentation first, and then the feature extraction, then the dense layers to get the distance between the two shapes. So for model training, we trained the model for 500 epochs with batch size of 512, and we reached around 0.006 MSE on validation. And on the testing side, in total, we considered template of 62 characters and compared the output produced by Google Tesseract with shape registration. Test evaluation metric accuracy is computed as the percentage of characters correctly recognized, and when Tesseract produces any extra character, we ignore them from the calculation of accuracy.
This is what it looks like when we compare both methods against one of the most common fonts, Times New Roman. While the results appear rosy, it's important to caveat that our test case that we're presenting is a sequence of characters that doesn't actually have a lot of context. And as we know from class, LSTMs really rely on capturing these long-term correlations. And so as we screen through a set of fonts in the illustrated in the table, we also noticed that our methodology was sometimes getting confused when recognizing characters that were very similar. In order to bring a fair comparison to the table, we screened a set of sentences, and we saw that Tesseract was actually performing way better there. But when presented with a sentence that had less widespread context, it was still introducing extra characters, as mentioned before. And so it's fair to say that our methodology is not perfect. And the first thing we should do is test it out on way more sentences while comparing it to Tesseract. But the other improvements that we're thinking of introducing is to better represent the shapes, to incorporate rotation and variance, to include the ResNet module as we're modeling the deformation of the shape towards the distance metric. And then one of the strong aspects of our method is that it's very principled and conducive to including active learning routines that can correct mistakes on preset documents and extend our database such that next time we encounter that same tough character, we're able to properly match it. And then finally, it will be interesting to look at the embeddings of shapes to see if the axioms are met.